Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're going to get started with our fall welcome. Thank you for joining us. We will start with the Speaker of the Academic Senate, Dr. Connie Stone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Connie Stone, a professor in the chemistry department, and this year I'm serving as Speaker of the faculty. And with that, I'm really looking forward to working with everyone, faculty, staff, administrators, students, to make sure that we're taking advantage of the opportunities that we have to ensure the success of our students. So welcome everyone to a fabulous, successful new year. And next, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Destiny Suarez, President of Associated Students Incorporated, that's ASI. Please welcome Destiny.
Thank you, Dr. Stone, and hello, everybody. My name is Destiny Suarez, and I serve as the ASI President this year. On behalf of Associated Students Incorporated, I would like to welcome you all, the campus community, to the Fall 2022 Welcome Address. It is with great pleasure to stand here today in person to welcome all of you. After reflecting on these last 2 years, I truly believe we have embarked on what it really means to be a warrior. Our campus community has struggled and prospered together, bringing to light how strong we are when we work as one. It is also important to recognize what we missed out while we were virtual for so long, and ASI is committed to working hard to rekindle the campus pride and student life we had pre-pandemic. As student leaders, the ASI and Student Center Board of Directors, we have been working hard this summer and are eager to continue working towards our own initiatives and ideas that can help serve our campus community and student body. ASI Student Government recently attended the Turlock City Council meeting to show our support, and I am proud to announce that the City of Turlock has approved to waive fees on the Turlock Transit to offer free rides for all Stan State students, faculty, and staff starting this Monday, August 22nd, by showing your Warrior ID. Based on last year's ASI election survey, where students were asked what top 3 campus issues their student government should address, we will continue advocating to improve parking issues on campus, expand campus food options, and tackle what issues revolve around academic advising to support and improve student success. Now, entering this new year, where we may face new challenges, we must remember that we are all in this together. Let us look forward to more in-person classes, seeing students on campus, students utilizing their on-campus library, hanging out in the University Student Center, attending events and athletic games, but most importantly, wearing red on Wednesdays. Lastly, don't forget to prioritize your mental health and well-being. I'm wishing you all the best of luck on your new academic year. Now it is my pleasure to announce the CSU Stanislaus President, President Jen.
Thank you, Destiny, and thank you, Dr. Stone, for such wonderful introductions for our fall welcome. So good afternoon and welcome to the start of our fall semester and the 2022-23 academic year. To ASI Student Body President Destiny Suarez and to all our ASI and Student Center Board members, thank you for representing and supporting our students. If those of you are students, please wave your hand and we want to say thank you. Also, obviously, to the Senate Speaker, Dr. Connie Stone, all our Senate members, thank you for your passion and perseverance, as well as to the members of Staff Council. Thank you for all you do to acknowledge our staff. I also want to acknowledge and welcome our campus community members and guests who are joining us here for the fall welcome address. And this is, can you believe that we haven't done this in more than 2 years, since 2019. So, oh my goodness, it is such a joy to see so many of you back in campus in person. And thank you for wearing your face coverings and following our safety protocols. I hope you and your families are healthy, safe, and well, and that you're able to recharge and rejuvenate over this past summer. And as we begin this afternoon, we also want to respectfully acknowledge that Stanislaus State is located on the traditional lands of the Yokuts Nation. Our campus is built on these unceded ancestral lands of the indigenous tribes. So thank you for allowing us to honor the Yokuts and give our gratitude to their ancestors for the careful and constant stewardship of this land. Thank you. It is also my privilege to welcome guests and friends of the university, including members of our foundation board, the President's Community Ambassador Council, and our Alumni Advisory Council. So thank you to those of you who could join us today, both in person and virtually. In addition, please allow me to recognize the local, city, county, and state elected officials and representatives, and our community and business leaders, some of whom are also joining us today. We sincerely appreciate your presence and support. Next, I would like to briefly introduce the members of my cabinet. So those of you, when I call your name, please turn and wave when I say your name. So Dr. Richard Ogle, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Christine Erickson, Vice President for Student Affairs. Dr. Gitanjali Kaul, Vice President for Strategic Planning, Enrollment Management, Innovation. Dr. Michelle Latte, Vice President for University Advancement. Mr. Paul Norris, our Interim Senior Associate Vice President for Human Resources. Dr. Rosalie Rush, Senior Associate Vice President for Communication, Marketing. Ms. Naisha Rhodes, Director of Presidential Initiatives. Ms. Nareth Lopez, Interim Special Assistant to the President. And Ms. Christina Stratman, General Counsel from the Chancellor's Office. And lastly, but certainly not least, I am pleased to introduce our newest cabinet member, Ms. Rose Mcauliffe. She's the Vice President for Business and Finance and our CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Rose just joined us this July 1st from Sacramento State, where she served as the AVP for Budget Planning Administration and Chief Budget Officer. She is a dynamic CSU senior leader with experience directing operations and leading financial programs. She has over more than 25 years of experience in finance, higher ed, investments, and government combined. She's worked in diverse roles that have prepared her for this very important position at Stan State. So we are thrilled to have Rose's expertise as part of our warrior community. Please join me in welcoming her and our entire cabinet. Now, as the fall semester marks the start of a new academic year, I'd like to acknowledge all of our new faculty, staff, and administrators, and those individuals who've been recently promoted. Congratulations and welcome to you all, and you can view a full list of everyone recognized as new online. Now, earlier I had introduced our new VP for Business and Finance. I'd also like to take a moment to welcome another new member to the division. Her name is Vicki Jones, our new Director of Safety and Risk Management. Vicki brings to the role 21 years of experience in environmental health and public service, and she is no stranger to Stan State. She's already been a warrior. She earned both her bachelor's and her master's degree here. We're pleased to welcome Vicki back to our campus community, and she has hit the ground running upon her appointment by leading and consulting with our infectious disease response team, our COVID campus consultation team, with our esteemed consultant, Dr. John Walker, and our public health officials to manage our COVID-19 response and mitigation. Now, as you know, the upward trend of COVID-19 cases in our region has resulted in making Stanislaus and San Joaquin counties into the high level of community transmission per the CDC guidelines. Now, in addition, it's important for you to know that we closely monitor and publicly track all of the COVID positive cases of students and employees who are on our campus daily. When there are significant increases in both campus and county COVID positive cases within a given time period, within a week, then we have protocols to pivot back to indoor masking to better ensure everyone's safety on campus. So as a result, the university recently had to reinstate the requirement for face coverings to be worn in all indoor spaces until further notice, regardless of your vaccination status. However, masks can be removed if you're alone in an enclosed office or a space with the door closed, or when actively eating or drinking in areas where that's permitted. Obviously, we do expect a bump up when more students and employees return to campus this next week, so indoor masking is warranted. But when conditions improve, we may also be able to pivot to less restrictive masking protocols. So we sincerely appreciate your understanding as we continue to carefully monitor the situation, and we also work very closely with our public health officials to ensure the health and safety of our students, our faculty, and our staff. The university will continue to provide ongoing communication and details to keep everyone informed of the changing circumstances in our counties and on our campus. So the start of the academic year is always an exciting time because it marks a new beginning that ignites a sense of optimism. And given the events of the past 2.5 years, this is not just another semester. We have all been through so much, and I am so excited for our return to a new, exciting, and transformative fall semester. We are officially back in significant numbers on campus, in person, since the pandemic forced the CSU and most of the entire world to shut down back in March 2020. We're finally coming out of the darkest shadows of COVID, and all of our students, especially our new students, will have the chance to come together and hopefully encounter what it feels like to be on a vibrant and welcoming college campus with the dedicated faculty, staff, and other peers with whom they can connect, learn from, and develop lifelong friendships. I know that I and so many others on campus, including faculty, staff, and students, have missed being on our beautiful campus, and we are looking forward to seeing, learning, socializing, and reconnecting with everyone on campus this year. But we are also taking stock of the lessons that we learned from COVID to improve the college odyssey, from innovative ways of delivering virtual services to, yes, using Zoom for teaching courses for students. It is true that we now have interesting options for students who want to have a hybrid or online course learning experience. But I will say that nothing can replace face-to-face contact. Why? Because as a cognitive psychologist myself, we know from the research that college learning is arduous. And for the deepest levels of learning, college should never be a spectator sport or a passive online anonymous learning experience where students may not be necessarily fully present in the act of learning with their professor who has created a classroom experience where all students engage actively with the faculty and with their other fellow students to deepen their understanding and apply the knowledge in their courses. I give my heartfelt thanks and commendations to all of our dedicated faculty who have worked extremely hard to learn the new online teaching technologies, and they're adapting them to effectively engage our students and maximize student learning. So this is a time for us to say to our students, we are back, we are here, we are celebrating, and we want you to engage, participate, and have an outstanding and unforgettable journey where you are deeply connecting in real time with real people who care about your education and your future. One positive point is that we now have data showing that about 88% of students will be taking at least one of their courses on campus this fall. Yes. So I am excited that we are on our way back to recapture and reinvigorate what it means to be a truly engaged community of student learners and faculty here at Stan State, who are alongside our incredibly dedicated staff, who also love to interact with, get to know, and support our remarkable students. Next, before I present our campus's accomplishments and updates, I want to take a moment to acknowledge how great it feels to be back on the physical grounds of what I think is the most beautiful campus in the CSU. Now, unfortunately, some of you may have noticed that recently the grass on campus is starting to look browner in some spots than usual in certain areas. I want to tell you that is no accident. It is actually intentional. Because California is now experiencing one of the worst consecutive droughts in recorded history, the university is stepping up to do our part to conserve water. The grass on campus is being watered less, and we are watering strategically to preserve our trees. We're also incorporating more drought-tolerant and native plants and shrubs into our landscapes. We are always planning ahead to be a strong steward in safeguarding our sustainable resources. So it should comfort you to know that these following measures further position Stan State to be a leader in water conservation. With that, I am delighted to highlight some of our university's recent accomplishments. The 2022-23 academic year is already off to a great start, with Stan State ranked highly by several prestigious publications and organizations. For example, the Princeton Review this week named Stan State one of the best colleges, 388 colleges for 2023. Ed Smart ranked Stanislaus State number 4 among the best West Coast colleges for our academic quality, affordability, student satisfaction, and postgraduate earnings. Money Magazine placed Stan State at number 10 on its list for best colleges in the West and number 19 on its list of best colleges in America ranked by value. Further, Stanislaus State has been recognized for providing students with exceptional economic mobility and return on investment. The public policy think tank named Third Wave named Stan State number 6 in the nation on its list of the top 10 schools that offer the most upward economic mobility. And our School of Nursing has also received notable accolades, being ranked the number 1 accelerated BSN program in the nation by Ed Smart and number 26 on the nursing school almanac list of the 100 best nursing schools in California. We have a lot to be thankful for, our achievements nationally. So in addition, I want to tell you that Stan State was recently awarded 2 notable faculty research grants. For example, Dr. Wing Tu received a 5-year, $620,000 NASA instrument grant, the very first NASA grant awarded to our campus. This grant will support 2 faculty members' research in atmospheric science and up to 6 student assistants per year. NASA will also supply the university with 2 ground-based atmospheric instruments that will be housed on the roof of Naragi Hall of Science. The second faculty research is by computer scientist member Dr. Melanie Martin. She's a co-investigator on a $4.9 million National Science Foundation grant that will help prepare students for full-time career opportunities that meet industry needs. Graduating scholars will be equipped to contribute to the evolving demand and challenges of the 21st century in cybersecurity and data science, while fulfilling a national need for well-educated scientists, mathematicians, engineers, and technicians. This is a 6-year grant, and the project will provide 85 scholarships to high-achieving students with demonstrated financial need. Continuing in this spirit of excellence, I want to highlight a few outstanding achievements by Stan State Athletics. Athletics enjoyed a banner year with the return of competition after COVID started to wane. And I have to tell you, it's been an amazing year of highlights. Some examples: the women's cross-country team won the 2021 California Collegiate Athletic Association Championship team title, a first in the program's history. The team also won 4 CCAA major individual awards, including Coach of the Year, Runner of the Year, Newcomer of the Year, and Freshman of the Year. Women's basketball head coach Wayman Strickland won his 100th career game, making him the 2nd all-time winningest coach in program history on our campus. Last April, our women's softball team beat the number 1 ranked team in the nation, Concordia University Irvine, 6-1. And more importantly, our student athletes are continuing their streak of academic achievement by maintaining very high GPAs, a GPA above 3.2 for a 5th consecutive semester. And lastly, Stan State alumnus Aaron Alaire was named Director of Athletics. Now, I don't know if you know Aaron. He is a long-standing and proud warrior Before completing his Master of Arts in Management with a specialization in leadership at National, he earned the Bachelor of Arts where? Here, in history here at Stan State. And as a student athlete, he played both third base and catcher for Warrior Baseball. Aaron's leadership and experience will bring new energy and partnerships that will strategically position our athletics for growth and progress. Meanwhile, other divisions, such as Marketing Communications, earned the Communicators of the Year and the Rising Star Awards from Reagan Communications and PR Daily, who recognized our efforts to keep the campus community members connected, engaged, and informed throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. To achieve this triumph, Communications and Public Affairs collaborated with Student Affairs, with Academic Affairs, with Admissions and Outreach, Athletics, and Student Media to create an integrated university communications team that was devoted to keeping constituents informed and involved during the pandemic crisis. So congratulations to everyone for demonstrating expanded collaborations and producing excellent results. And now it is my pleasure to share with you several divisional updates. We are so excited to welcome 9,608 students to campus this fall. This includes 1,059 first-year students and 1,285 transfer students. This fall, the university is offering over 1,800 course sections as of early August. There were over almost 1,500 course sections that were offered in person or in hybrid, which is roughly 77%. I'm also pleased to report that Housing and Residential Life retained 60% of the 2021-22 on-campus student housing residents for this upcoming year, which is the highest retention rate we've had to date. In academic affairs, our exceptional faculty members continue to provide our students with a high-quality education while demonstrating perseverance, creativity, and academic excellence. Our impressive student-centered focus demonstrated by faculty is a quality that our students deeply appreciate and is one of the factors that contributes to successful student learning outcomes. This year, we are pleased to welcome several new members to the Academic Affairs Leadership Team. So when I call your name, please wave. The first is Dr. Terence Petrie, Dean of the College of Business Administration. In addition, Dr. Petrie joined us from Bowling Green State University, where he served as Department Chair of Accounting and Information Systems. He's earned many accolades during his time in higher education. Second is Dr. Brad Portofilio, Dean of the College of Education, Kinesiology, and Social Work. Prior to joining Stan State, Dr. Portofilio was at San Jose State as a tenured professor and director of the campus's EDD in leadership programs. Next is Dr. Bill Potter. Bill Potter is serving as interim dean for the College of Science. Dr. Potter is served as the chair of the Department of Psychology and Child Development for nearly 13 years. He has also held several other leadership positions within the college and the university, including the College of Science Executive Committee and Budget Planning Committee. He possesses a wealth of institutional knowledge that will enable him to support and advance the college during his appointment. Fourth is Dr. Carrie Knutson Miller, Dean of the College of Extended and International Education, who joined us from Cal State Fullerton, where she served in numerous leadership roles, including interim provost, dean of university education, and AVP for international programs and global engagement. And lastly, Dr. Stuart Woolley now serves as our permanent Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs. He has served in the Provost's office since 2017 in a variety of capacities and recently led our campus through a collaborative process to develop our 2-year interim report of the Stockton campus to WASC. So this is, as you can see, an exciting year because all new academic years often herald new transitions in leadership and new opportunities, and this fall is no exception. We have a cohort of new and amazing leaders from our cabinet with Provost Ogle, who joined us last year, and our new CFO, Rose Mcauliffe, as well as our new deans and AVPs. We are fortunate to have such an energetic, talented, and highly qualified team who are ready and eager to listen to the Senate, chairs, faculty, and others across other divisions to brainstorm. This signals a time when innovative opportunities will be open for more faculty and staff to get involved. Therefore, this year, Provost Ogle, faculty, staff, students, and the academic affairs team will work to envision and craft us an academic strategic master plan that will guide us as we continue to emerge from the pandemic to establish shared goals for the next 3 to 5 years. When students and faculty return to classrooms next week, they will also get to see and experience a number of new classroom upgrades. The Office of Information Technology successfully completed phase 1 of the classroom project, which brought 30 classrooms into the new Zoom room standard. Phase 2 is in progress with 27 additional rooms currently staged for upgrades by the end of the year. And phase 3 upgrades are in early implementation and will be scheduled for completion in 2023. Speaking of progress, in human resources and faculty affairs, our teams have been putting concentrated effort into the Common Human Resource System, also known as CHRS, which involves the upgrade of our PeopleSoft system from 9.0 to 9.2. We anticipate that CHRS will go live this November, and at that time, the several years of very hard work of these teams will come to fruition. Stan State is one of the first CSU campuses to implement this system, and I'm proud of our team for pioneering this new impactful project. This updated modern HR system will bring new functionality to save us time and effort. CHRS will streamline the way we do most human resource tasks, and it will touch all staff and faculty on campus in some way. Keep in mind that the CHR system is different from what we already have, the CHRS recruiting system, which went live several years ago and is only used for hiring. Please be sure to watch for communications this fall regarding project updates and training. Our plans to increase access, entrance facilities, and energize the student experience at the Stockton campus continues to evolve. It was extremely gratifying to receive $54 million to support capital improvements, along with $1 million in recurring base funds to expand our enrollment growth at the Stockton campus. In addition to 5 new faculty hired at the campus, new and returning Stockton students will see upgrades to facilities that include the student lounge, the recreation room and library, new signage, food services similar to offerings in the recently renovated Vache Library, and a soon-to-be-completed food pantry. This is just the beginning of facility enhancements that are taking place at the Stockton campus. As we previously shared, a Stockton campus master plan will commence this fall. This will include design to update our Magnolia Mansion and enhancements to improve the Acacia facility. As we continue to build the Stockton campus infrastructure, we're also moving forward with community outreach and engagement efforts. Campus and community engagement are essential in Stockton and San Joaquin County. A fun opportunity coming up in Stockton is the Family Day in the Park. It's an annual event, and I invite everyone to join us on September 17th at Weber Point for this free day of family fun and literacy. Stan State is proud to be a sponsor of the event, joining our educational and community partners in the region, and I hope to see you there. We want to build upon our collaboration efforts with stakeholders, including our educational, business, and workforce development community partners throughout Stockton and San Joaquin County. One example is our new partner with the Knowledge is Power program, or KIP, which is phasing in 2 schools in Stockton. Classes actually began August 8, and during the first 2 weeks of the school year, all of the KIP schools' classes were held in our Acacia Court building. This marked the first time that some of the school students and family members had ever set foot or entered a college or university building or campus. KIP is one of many organizations that are interested in providing opportunities, and we are looking to hire our students, and they are looking to hire our students. In addition, our new Community Equity Research Center, or CERC, will continue to support faculty and graduate students as they engage in community-driven participatory action research projects in Stockton. Last year, deans worked with faculty, staff, and students to understand our opportunities for evolving our programs and our course offerings at the Stockton campus. In addition, we engaged regional stakeholders and explored up-to-date market analyses in order to identify possibilities for expanding our already strong programs, as well as creating new programs that meet the needs of this important region. We're looking forward to providing even more support to our Stockton students. Complementing the dynamic student-centered courses and academic programs offered at Stan State are our holistic student support services provided by the Division of Student Affairs. Attending to our students' intellectual, emotional, professional, and social well-being is of paramount importance. Departments have expanded access to key student services. For example, the Student Health Center continues to offer a hybrid approach to healthcare for students, offering both in-person and telehealth appointments. Through telehealth appointments, students can conveniently receive care and medical advice from healthcare providers from anywhere in California. Telehealth appointments also enable students to receive care without bringing unnecessary risk to other students and health center staff, preventing interruptions in care and classes. During the 2021-22 academic year, the center handled 1,015 telehealth appointments. In order to meet the needs of students at our Turlock and Stockton campuses, the Student Health Center has implemented a nurse advice phone line that is also available after hours when the Student Health Center is closed. The university continues to develop and expand resources available to our LGBTQT plus campus community members with the recent appointment of faculty fellow Dr. Dana Nakano, who will assist in launching programs and services that will support students at both our Turlock and Stockton campuses. After an extensive national search, Dr. Brandon Price was named our permanent Associate Vice President for Student Success in Student Affairs. In addition to leading our academic support and success units, he is a champion for Career Ready U. Our Career Ready U initiative continues to connect our students with alumni, employers, and opportunities that integrate academics with professional experience in a variety of ways. By exploring professional development topics and experiential learning, students are intentionally building their skills and their confidence each semester while they're still in college, which is preparing them for success after their graduation. So far, approximately 4,457 students are enrolled in Career Ready U, which is a sizable increase since last fall 2020. Furthermore, the initiative partnered with the Aspire grant to establish the STEM Crew program. In other news, if you walk past the southeast section of the Turlock campus, you may have noticed construction signs announcing the new Child Development Center. I want to take a moment to recognize Representative Josh Harder for his invaluable assistance in securing funds for this project that will allow us to double its capacity and accommodate 120 children. Next, I am pleased to share good news from University Advancement. Despite the challenges of the pandemic, donors and friends of the university have continued to step up in tremendous ways to support our students. We are so grateful for their generosity. Stanislaus State's trailblazing chapter of the CFA, or California Faculty Association, has stepped forward once again to demonstrate their care and commitment to our students. Our faculty have seen firsthand how difficult it is for some of our students to balance school with other needs, especially during the pandemic. As a result, the group pledged an additional $20,000 to their endowment, the Stan State California Faculty Association Campus Cares Fund. Our Stan State CFA chapter started the fund back in 2016 to help students stay in college, even in the face of financial adversity. With CFA leading the way with their initial gift and endowment, campus community members and external donors came alongside in a like-minded fashion to address our students' needs. ASI and the Student Center each contributed $15,000 annually to various basic needs programs, including Campus Cares and the Warrior Food Pantry, clearly demonstrating how our students stand up to assist other warriors in need. Since the inception of the Campus Cares Fund, $600,000 has been raised by 1,000 donors. This timing was fortuitous because when the pandemic occurred, we had funds ready to go. The partnership with our local CFA chapter has proven to be so successful that CFA chapters at other campuses are now coming to Stan State and asking how they can replicate our efforts at their campuses. As a culmination of campus welcome activities during 8 weeks of welcome, we look forward to inviting prospective students, current students, and their families to come to campus on October 22 for something new, Stan State's Warrior Expo. We are thrilled to host this vibrant, fun annual event that will start an exciting new tradition on our campus to celebrate Warrior Pride. Be on the lookout for more details in the coming weeks. As illustrated by the examples I've shared, our university and campus community members are doing excellent and commendable work. We want to continue to highlight and share the successful outcomes that showcase Stan State. If something great is going on in your areas, accomplishments, awards, initiatives, research, and scholarship, please contact your deans, your department leaders, and the Communications and Public Affairs Department to share your achievements and story ideas so they can be shared with our internal and external audiences. I also encourage you to keep abreast of what's happening at Stan State through a variety of communication channels, including Stan News and Stan Events and announcements for faculty or staff, and Warrior Weekly, which is for students. And new this year, we launched a monthly electronic newsletter called Warrior Wire for our alumni and the community. To stay informed, I strongly encourage alumni and community members to subscribe to Warrior Wire and everyone to follow Stan State on social media. I am so honored to be part of a community that leads with compassion, excellence, and integrity. Thank you to our devoted faculty, staff, and administrators who work tirelessly to ensure that our warriors have a rich and well-rounded academic and social experience here at Stan State. Your resilience and the power of the resilience of our students and our recent graduates is truly inspiring. The university continues to receive acclaim, national acclaim, that shows our students are being recognized for their successes and their outcomes, despite the challenges of the pandemic. Our faculty continue to find new ways to remove barriers and be innovative in their teaching. Through your work, you demonstrate every day what it means to be Warrior Strong. Now, before we go to questions, I want to share with you a new video that we were asked to create by new trustee chair, Wenda Fong. We were selected to be the first CSU to showcase our Stan State campus and our student stories during the July Board of Trustees meeting. So please, can you roll that video?
In 1960, Stanislaus State College was established among the picturesque hills and waterways of California's sunny Central Valley to meet the needs of the region and contribute to its rapidly growing economy. Today, Stan State is an active and dynamic center of learning in a peaceful park-like setting. With campuses in Stockton and Turlock, both our locations offer a friendly college town feel just a short drive away from the bustling Bay Area. From their first steps on campus, faculty, students, and visitors alike are greeted by the Stan State warrior spirit.
Warrior spirit, I think, is never giving up and being resilient whenever you're faced with an obstacle.
It's having a hard work ethic, and it's sacrificing oneself for the benefit of the voiceless.
Warrior spirit is powerful, enduring, and uplifting.
I am proud to be a warrior because of the rich history Stan State has. The students today, what they're doing, what they're going through, the activism, it makes me proud to be a Stan State warrior. When I look at our future, it also makes me smile because I see bright colors of greatness.
Our dedicated professors recognize their students' different strengths and challenges and do everything they can to remove any barriers to success. And our tight-knit community and small class sizes encourage close student-faculty interaction.
I chose to teach at Stan State because we provide applied hands-on experiences for our students. And when you provide these experiences for our students, it prepares them for the real world.
I see the Stan State graduates who I got to know out there making a difference in the world. That is such an incredible feeling.
The more I found out about Stan State and the unique qualities of our student, our campus, our faculty, the more there was a great fit. The icing on the cake is that I'm actually born and raised in the Midwest, and this small town called Jenison actually was a farming town. As we were driving along the 99, it just felt like home. Stan State feels like home.
I decided to come to Stan State because it's close to home, and being a first-generation college student, that was very important to me, to be home and be supporting my family alongside getting my education.
The large majority, 74% of our students are first in their family to get a college degree. They represent to me these pioneers, these courageous students who are wanting to do something different and to aspire to greater success, and then going to make a difference, whether they be leaders or professionals working in different career paths.
I just finished my first year at Stanford. I'm working on my master's in physician assistant studies. I grew up here in the Central Valley, and there's really a lack of resources for underserved communities, and also they don't have access to health care. So I want to be able to provide that care to those communities.
One of the components I learned at Stan State was that I was just as intelligent as everybody else in the room, that I could be the most intelligent person in a room. I never knew that before. I'm a precocious person by nature, and I wanted all my questions answered. When I became a student at Stan State, I got that, and then some. So it broadened my horizons, it opened up doors I had no idea were there, and I flourished.
I think it's very unique here at Stan State that mentorship is part of its normal culture.
I always want to be available and accessible to students, to faculty, to staff, and others. So it is very important to me to give back and to connect and provide support to those who want to have mentorship or advice.
I actually just had lunch with Dr. Jun, the president at Stan State. So I really get the assistance, the guidance, and the friendship too of my mentor.
As an academic advisor, when I see students across my desk, I see myself. And that's the reason why I advise them with the passion that I do, is because I don't want them to fail. My experience at Stan State has never been one-dimensional. It's always been multifaceted because it's a culmination of a plethora of many positive feelings and emotions.
We welcome everyone who wants to do even more with their work and their lives to join us.
At Stan State, you belong.
You belong.
In closing, I am immensely proud and intensely grateful for each of your individual and your collective contributions, your service, your dedication, your passion and goodwill for our students, for each other, and for our communities. And it is fitting that as I reflect on my 7th year here at Stan State, I remembered, true 7 years, I remembered that fall has always been one of my personal favorite seasons growing up. And even now, because I always love the idea of returning back to school or to a campus to experience the joy and the jangle of meeting new people and engaging in the love of learning. So please join me in celebrating this new academic year as we all return to campus and embrace our students and each other in nurturing our precious and exceptional environment devoted to learning and growth. Here at Stan State, whether you're a student, a faculty, staff member, or administrator, you belong, and we aim to support and encourage you. So welcome, go Warriors, and have a great semester. So now if we could turn up the lights, we do have some time to take questions.
Hi, everyone. I'm Panita, and my question for President John is, how are things your very first year as president?
Say it again. How are
So
things?
yeah, how are things like what were things like your very first year as president here at Stan State?
Well, I would say anytime you're a president for the first year on any campus, there's so much excitement because the chance to come to a new place, get to know people, hear what people are interested in, what they're concerned about. It's a great time to do it. What we did was a presidential transition listening tour. So we did do a whole series of focus groups and so forth to find out what it is that faculty and staff and students said was important. What are things that could be improved and so on. So it was a very exciting time to hear all of that because someone new came to campus, right? And so it was a very wonderful time. And for any president coming to a new campus, it's always, and of course, the investiture, the grand party where you get to celebrate the campus and the new leadership. So thank you for that question.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Krishan Malhotra. I'm a graduate student now. I have a question. So for the COVID cases and things moving forward, is it public what threshold we're looking at to see if we're going to go back virtual at any point, or is that still a discussion that's happening at all or anything like that?
Yes. So as a public institution, I'm going to have Vicki stand up as well because she's our infectious disease specialist here. And so as a campus, what we do is, as I said, publicly, we have a COVID dashboard. If you go to the COVID dashboard, if you just type in Stan State COVID dashboard, it'll come up. It's probably one of the best, I think, one of the best databases that you can see. It's updated in 24/7 real time, but it shows you all the data for this county, both San Joaquin and Stanislaus County. And then we also post all of the data for our campuses in addition. And on top of that, I have been insistent on making sure that we have collaborative different committees to share and discuss all of these different ideas for COVID protocol. And on top of that, we did hire as our consultant, Dr. John Walker. He was the former highly regarded, over 10 years of experience as the County of Stanislaus Public Health Director, right? So he's an epidemiologist and specialist. He used to work for the CDC. So we have this incredibly expert team, and we share all this information. So I'm going to let Vicki Jones, who is our director, talk about our process, about how do we pivot back and forth. We do use some standard measurements or metrics to help make those decisions, but it is a combination of this county when we're in the high range of transmission. And then if more and more cases happen on our campus, you get those emails that say, if you have been in these places yesterday during this time, you might want to go get tested, right? Because we actually track all of that information. So when the cases go up on campus, in addition to the county, that's when we make the decision. And the cutoff is 19 or below. And then I'm going to let Vicki talk about that.
When it comes to looking at our decision on masking and whether we have all indoor masking as our requirement, or if we can reduce that. One thing that we're definitely trying very hard to do is to try and keep our in-person presence. So, of course, as you all know, with COVID and different variants and subvariants, things could always change, right? So it's not currently in our protocol to go back to only virtual like we were, but we always have to keep that open because we just don't know. I work very closely with Dr. Walker, who I used to work with in the past with Stanislaus County. So we have a working history, but also with our San Joaquin County and our Stanislaus County public health officers to help make sure that we're keeping an eye on the future so we know best how to plan. The way the current decision process works is that if we're monitoring the CDC community level for San Joaquin County and Stanislaus County. And so when right now, currently, those are listed as high, if they do go to medium, then we're able to, if our cases continue at 19 cases or below at medium community level, then that gives us an opportunity. If that occurs for 2 weeks in a row, then that gives us an opportunity to reduce the masking to only areas of instruction and advising. And then if cases continue to reduce and we go into a low community level, if the cases are 5 or below, then for 2 weeks, then that gives us an opportunity to potentially not have masking at all. And then of course, if we have increased cases or increases back into the community level, then we would go back up the scale. So it gives us something that we're looking at science, we're listening to our public health officials, and also paying attention to state guidance as well.
Thank you for your question, Krishan, because every campus does it slightly differently. But I am a firm believer that we need to use science and to look at not just the county, but what's happening on our campus to determine when is it safe to remove the masks. Because we want to, our number one North Star is to say, as president, I have to guarantee as much as possible the health, safety, well-being of everyone on campus, number one, and then to provide a fabulous learning environment for everyone, faculty, staff, students, and others. So that's why we are doing it slightly different. And every CSU, when you talk to your colleagues at other campuses, it's different because their counties are different. Their vaccination rates are different. The students are different. So that's why we use a combination of the science and what's happening, monitoring it very closely. Every morning I wake up and I look at the COVID data every morning, and it's important that we stay abreast of it. So that's the system that we're using. But thank you for your question.
So good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to say my name is Pete. I am a current graduate student at Stanislaus State for the MBA program.
Woohoo!
I'm proud to be a Stanislaus State Warrior.
Yay!
So I just have one simple question. Do you believe that the American dream is still alive and real? And is it possible for us and the previous generations to come?
Oh, I'm an optimist, of course, but absolutely, the American dream is always alive. As long as there are people with passion in their hearts to make a difference and to improve the quality of life for themselves, their families, and others, there will always be. That is the central to the tenet of the American dream, is that you can start with nothing and make grand impact, right? And we even have a series called The Champions of the American Dream that was funded by the Porges family. So each year we choose one outstanding inspirational person to talk about, and someone from the Central Valley to talk about how they became realizing their American dream, whether they're an entrepreneur or a social entrepreneur, right? So what did you say your major was?
Finance.
Business and finance. Okay, so you're well on your way to making your American dream. And so you should come back and tell us your story in the future. But the point is, yes, I totally firmly believe it. And we have so many instances of our own alumni going on and making tremendous differences in our immediate region and even greater professional success. So this is the place where we can grow, nurture, provide students with the right skills, the right perspective, and you bring the passion, and we'll continue to support you and make your story visible. So yes, I totally believe it.
Absolutely. I believe the American dream is alive and real as well.
Bravo. Love to hear it.
My name is Bruce Robertson. I'm a retired teacher from Lincoln High School in Stockton.
Woohoo.
And I'm on the PCAC,
Yep.
which is the President's Council.
Yep.
So my question is regarding, similar to the last person, but it's around workforce development. As you know, or maybe not know, our global economy is still growing.
Yes.
We're actually a global economy of $84 trillion,
Yes.
of which in the US is pretty much 25 trillion of that is in the US. And California is a leader in terms of basically providing the products and services that are needed throughout the world. So we're on the global supply chain. So my question is, because of this university, we have to be focused on how do we continue to develop the workforce that's needed for the future. And also I want to say that given that in many cases there's 4 in 10 students that are graduating with the requirement to go to a 4-year university. So there's a potential to really get more students in and through the university. However, a lot of the situation in the public schools is that less than 2 in 10 African Americans can read by 3rd grade. And 2 in 10 graduate A to G ready to go to 4-year college. So there's a big potential. So I want to know, how might you think about given the potential for California and the need for the workforce, how will you go about making sure that you keep the university focused on attracting the students that can help build the workforce that's needed?
I love your question, Bruce. And I not only spend time thinking about it, but we are doing things, many things on many fronts. So just to give you a handful of examples, you mentioned the African-American students, particularly in Stockton. So we have launched a joint campaign with the it's called the 1300 campaign. You might have heard about it. This was something that was actually started in conjunction with Sac State and Santa Cruz. But we are the second campuses to join on the Northern Central Valley 1300 campaign. And this is a campaign that specifically looks at young men of color to say we want to help start working with them while they're in high school, before they come, to get them motivated and prepared, and saying that you can go to college and we are here to help build that pathway for you. So it's called 1300 because 13th Amendment was important in the American Constitution, specifically focusing on providing rights for those that were African American and in the incarceration system. And so that we wanted to say is we're going to try and grow 1,300 young men of color in the coming years with this funding that comes with the campaign, and we're partnered with UC Merced. So we had about 100 students start coming to the UC Merced's campus this summer for 3 days, coming to our campus for the remainder of the week to get acclimated, to see what it's like to be on a college campus, to meet our students and so on. So that's just one example. Many other examples have to do with our work with the Cradle to Career with the Stanislaus County and the foundation, the community foundation, and then Stanislaus 2030, which is another big initiative that directly links education with business and civic government. So we are doing many things, even on our own campus. We successfully hired Miguel Jimenez, and Miguel is our new coordinator for our Males Success Program. So to try and also build programs here to support students, particularly young men, because our number of young men are not as high as our number of female students. So we want to make sure that young men also feel welcome to come and have other support systems for them as well. So it's something that we're working, and Gitanjali is actually working with the unified school districts in Stockton. We're going to set up promise programs to say to young students, if you want to come to Stan State, if you keep up your grades, you take the right courses, we'll build a pathway to say, well, you can come and you can say that you want to be involved, and we'll have counselors and other kinds of opportunities for them to come visit the Stockton campus, to meet with advisors, have tours and so forth. So we are doing a lot proactively. So I love your question. We need to get you connected, Bruce, with some of these initiatives. Maybe you'd like to serve as a mentor or a speaker to our student groups. I think you would be powerful that way. So thank you, Bruce.
We have several questions from our live stream.
Okay.
Eric Greenberg asks, with the new plethora of data available regarding online learning, what has been your most surprising discoveries? Are there any positive or negative lessons that can be taken now that the majority of instructors and students have experienced in online classes?
Thank you. Thank you for that question, Eric. And then let's see, is Brandon here? Where's Brandon? Brandon, I'll get it because I want Brandon to talk about it because we have been collecting systematic data on student outcomes. We've been, for example, looking at pass rates. We wanted to make sure that during the pandemic, when everyone went virtual online, then were there certain classes where students were really doing poorly on? If that's the case, then we need to do something more. Like other campuses, for example, showed that students who, when the pandemic hit and everything went completely online, students in math courses and students in freshman English were doing much worse in the online course than when it was face-to-face, right? So I too wanted to say, what courses are the ones that are having the most problems? And how do we work with the faculty and with students to help make their success rates come back up? I will say that in general, our campus did not see as many declines as some of the other CSUs, but there were some interesting findings. So Brandon knows this on like the back of his hand.
Yeah, we were really excited when we looked at the data, especially over the last year, to find that overall the class data was actually slightly better overall for the online classes. Now, again, you got to take that with a grain of salt because they're not exactly the same classes, apples to apples, in terms of a lab class is more likely to be on campus than a non-lab class. But overall, the data has shown that we've seen a lot of improvement overall in the online instruction, and that the online course success rates were as high as the course success rates overall for classes that were not online.
Right. And because what we want to do is keep tracking the data. And if there are issues, we will address them and go back to the departments or the faculty or students and say, what else can we help to bring you more successful outcomes? And I think the only negative I would say that I have heard, because when I talk to students, they will sometimes tell me that they feel, let's see, sorry for their professors. And I'll say, why? And they said, well, because when they go to the classroom on Zoom, the professor will be there talking and trying to have a discussion. But the student tells me that only 1 or 2 students will turn their camera on or will engage in the discussion. And so they felt sorry for their professor who's trying to get students to interact, but they're all on Zoom and they've turned their cameras off and their audio off. So that, I think, is the one area that some of the faculty have told me that is also concerning to them, because as I said to you, college learning is not a spectator sport. You can't, if you really want to learn and understand, it is a socially constructed knowledge base when you're in the classroom with an expert faculty and your peers who are helping to sort of pull apart and understand the subject material. And that cannot be done if you're on a Zoom screen, just sort of watching passively, right? So that's why I would say to students, if you are in a Zoom class, stay involved, be present, interact with the professor just as you would in the classroom, because that's where your deep sustained learning will come from. So that's one thing that does worry me. And I know that in conversations with some of the leaders in the faculty as well, that's something that we're all trying to puzzle over about how do we address that. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, Marie Hirschkorn asks, with the updated guidance from the CDC, will asymptomatic testing for COVID-19 no longer be required? From the CDC website, quote, recommending screening testing of asymptomatic people without known exposures will no longer be recommended in most community settings, quote. So given this guidance, will we still continue to require asymptomatic testing on campus?
Okay, so I'm going to have Christine also talk about how this applies to athletes. And for, let's see, Vicki, I think the campus's stance is to go in accordance with CDC. So why don't we start with Vicki and then Christine will follow up because there are exceptions with the athletes.
At the moment, we've had it scheduled with our testing process, and also agreements we have in place that we would have testing for asymptomatic certain groups on occasion or weekly, depending on their particular eligibility. However, it is being looked at right now and being considered if we need to make any changes to those agreements in place or to any contracts in place with our current contractor that we have on site, HR Support Pros. And so that is being looked at the moment. CDC guidance is considered along with state guidance and local health official guidance as well. So I don't have an answer on when that may change, but we do have that as something we are discussing and looking at right now.
And then for athletes.
So thanks, Marie, for the question. For student athletes, currently it's the same as for other students. If you're unvaccinated and have an approved exemption, you're required to test weekly and upload that documentation in order to get your green screen to be cleared to come to campus. So that applies to our student athletes as well. They no longer have additional restrictions on that.
The next question is from Nick Weber. Given there are difficulties in adequately staffing the university and people are actively leaving the university due to low pay, what is your plan to address pay inequities among staff as outlined in the study conducted by Mercer last semester? What are your plans to help attract new desirable staff and retain current staff?
Okay, so that is such an important question, is equity and what they sometimes call the Great Resignation, that people all over are switching jobs, moving elsewhere, et cetera. So I will tell you that the system office, the Council of Presidents, CSLC, the Chancellor's Senior Leadership Council, these are things that we discuss every time we meet, and we meet bi-monthly. And so I would say that there is very strong support from both the leadership and I think even within the legislature to bring the Mercer study to fruition. That was a study that was looking at salary inequities for staff, and that staff study was completed and presented to the legislature. And so that piece of legislation is a complicated one, and the hard part is where do we find the money to make those corrective salary adjustments is somewhere in the neighborhood of $287 million. And it can't be one time because this is salary that you would get continuously. It's baseline. So that's where it's very interesting to try and advocate for this, which we're trying to do with the legislature and so forth. I will tell you that in addition to your second part of your question, which is how do we better recruit and retain, the interim chancellor, Jolene Kester, put forth about 4 or 5 special groups that she is convening on specific urgent issues. And one of the issues is exactly that question, how do we attract and retain and recruit highly qualified people and keep them here once we have them? And so she is selecting several presidents to sit on that task force. So I have been named, I asked to be, and I've been named to be on that task force. So I will have more information because that's something I deeply care about as well. So the good news, Nick, is that the system office, the legislature, everybody is focused on not just staff, but also faculty. So faculty salary study is also trying to proceed on that. And that's in conjunction with the staff one, which has already been completed. So the good news is that it is a top priority, and I'll be sitting on the task force, and we'll keep people appraised.
The next question is for our ASI president, Destiny Suarez. Carlene Jabril asks, is the free transportation that is offered also for START, or is it only for Turlock Transit?
As of right now, it's only for Turlock Transit. But if you are a college student in any area on community college or California State University College and show your Warrior ID and Turlock Transit, and you can get it for free. So yeah, it's just Turlock Transit as of right now.
The next question is from Elizabeth Rye. Are there any programs or places where students who are low income or who can't afford certain textbooks can get those materials?
So let's see, Campus Cares, who would be the spokesperson for that? Okay, Christine.
Thank you for that question also. So any students experiencing hardship, whether it's not being able to pay their rent or buy gas in these days or buy textbooks in this case, they can submit for Campus Cares grant. So we have emergency grants. President Jun talked about Campus Cares, where our faculty and our students have been contributing to that fund. So the best thing to do would be to apply for that. Also talk with your professor. Sometimes there are other options for accessing course materials, and they would be also your best resource.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was the last question that we
That was
have.
the last. Oh, yes, Dr. Ensley. One more down here.
My name is Steve Ensley. I'm a cardiologist, retired. I just want to say my personal experience. I think this will be helpful, maybe. I hope it is. And this is my story. In the 1940s, the school that Winston Churchill went to a high school called Eton High School. And he had been fighting the war and with Franklin Roosevelt, and then they'd won the war. And they wanted to invite Winston Churchill back to give us advice on schooling, okay? And so they brought him to the school, big educational group like you are, and they brought him to he was going to speak, and the speaker said, Winston Churchill has said that he will give you 9 words, not a big long thing about anything, but 9 words to encourage you. And he said it this way. Number 1, never give up. Number 2, never give up. Number 3, never give up. Now, I did not personally hear Winston Churchill say those words, but when I went to college, I was trying to go to college. I applied to 3 colleges. I got into 1, okay? So I didn't have to worry about which college I was going to go to. I only got 1. So I went to college. It's a true story. I got to college. I got a few C's, maybe more than 50% C's. But college is sort of hard. And then I applied to medical school. I applied to 3 medical schools. I got into 1. So I didn't have to decide which medical school, what part of the country. No, I only got 1. And so I trained for I trained for 12 years from age 18 to age 32 until I got my first job. And every so often I would think of Winston Churchill giving me advice. And now you people here have heard wonderful experiences, and you've heard literally the best program available in this area, okay? Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to all think of what you heard, okay? Now, you all know people at home. And this is my challenge to you as ambassadors. You're the ambassador now. I'm going to suggest and request that you talk to 1 or 2 or 3 students who would be helped by knowing about the program that you've just heard about. Because if you can get 1 or 2 or 3 more students coming here, they will be so lucky to have you share with them what you've heard today and all the opportunity you have here. If this is an opportunity, I don't know what is. And I promise you that education, there's nothing more important than education. And this team has a great opportunity for you. Now, these teachers here, they didn't just graduate from high school or college and now they're teachers. No, they've had long, hard educational programs that they've worked very hard for. I would be surprised if they had 5 or 10 years after college to be trained in teaching and before they got their program here. They are ready and willing to help. Not just you, because the people here, I'm hopefully you've already drank the Kool-Aid, but but the people that you haven't heard yet, the people you know at home, a neighbor, a friend, somebody who's struggling, maybe they're taking a little bit too much. Well, you know what I mean, and they're not committed yet. So just think, it's not me telling you, it's Winston Churchill telling you.
Thank you, Dr. Ensley. Thank you, everyone. We're going to have a fantastic year. So just come back to campus, embrace each other, and have a fantastic fall.